This week we'll be talking about Kratos flexing his emotions in the review roundup for God of War Ragnarok, PSVR 2 being very expensive, Hideo Kojima's unannounced Overdose game has leaked and everyone is kind of confused, why Final Fantasy 16 devs say no to racial diversity. Then we have first impressions for the Entropy Center. Nailed it. More on Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer, Marvel Snap, Overwatch 2, and more on Season 6, Episode 43 of Press X to Start podcast. Do the thing. What's up, everyone? I'm your host, DJ, aka Sexy Bad Choices, aka Mr. Snap Your Fingers, Do Your Stare. You can do it all by. All right, there you go. Who else is here?
What the fuck was that?
Marvel Snap, my guy. What you mean?
I guess.
Snap. And I'm black, so of course I have to do the traditional black anthem, right? Is that the
Nuck If You Buck is the black national anthem. Anyway, it's your heavyweight champion from Witch Nigga California, aka the janitor because we watch niggas, aka call me dingy because I got that dog in me. Marcus Ellison.
I am Sean MF Ross.
What the MF stand for?
I once was a young Catholic boy.
Wait, what is happening?
I was talking about Chainsaw Man. I don't know about.
Oh, okay. I thought you actually had a dog in you. I'm gonna be like, what's happening to you over there in California?
Is that what they practice over there? Are you
knotted up? My opportunities.
John, what the? Shut up.
I'm sorry. Hey, we have a fourth.
Last up, we have.
He's not participating in our Kuna.
Wait, is he frozen? No, I saw him blink.
He's blinking.
He's still here. Can you not hear us? Oh, you're muted.
Oh, you're muted.
It's Avery, everyone.
Yeah.
Yay. All right, now you know who we are. Press X Start Podcast is a weekly show where we talk about the latest gaming news, review the biggest games, and give you our thoughts on the games we are playing. Our goal is to expand the video game media landscape through an underserved point of view. On YouTube, you get our gaming news breakout on Tuesdays, what we've been playing on Thursday, and the whole thing as a podcast on Fridays. So make sure you are tuned in for those things. If you're watching on YouTube, which I know you are because you should be, you can support us by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and hitting the notification bell. If you are listening, we would appreciate you leaving us a review on Apple Podcasts or the podcast services you are tuned in on. And if you want to join our conversations, you can by joining the Discord at pressx2start.com. Now that we have all that out of the way, we can jump into. Oh, it still says a quick hits. I'm going to change that. We're jumping into the gaming news, guys. We're jumping into the gaming news.
We're going to hit him quick though. It's okay.
We're doing that thing again where, I've basically it's me instead of Avery for the first one. And the first thing we're talking about is the review roundup for God of War Ragnarok. This is coming from GameSpot. This is essentially just talking about all the reviews that's released for God of War Ragnarok. And it has been pretty amazing, but almost kind of expected in a way.
Well, yeah.
So right now on Metacritic and OpenCritic, it sits at a 94, where Metacritic has 124 reviews, while OpenCritic has 134 reviews. So, I mean, so far people have been trying to try to keep at bay spoilers. There is a lot of spoilers on the internet, so make sure you are not watching those. I almost got caught once. Almost got caught. I saw it happening and I pulled back. So
nothing is sacred anymore.
No. So this is just exciting news just to see that God of War Ragnarok is looking to be like, a very, very good follow-up to God of War 2018. Have you guys looked at any of the reviews or anything like that?
Nothing serious, just a cursory glance.
Okay.
Yeah, I've mostly just looked at the number ratings, and then also, obviously because I had it on my fantasy list, so I saw the numbers there, and I think I saw like maybe one blurb of something from IGN, but that's about it. I'm pretty much just trying to go into this uh, and let it be what it's going to be from my own perspective.
Yeah, I've been kind of going back and forth between looking and really looking into the reviews and seeing what's up. Like so far, all of my content that I've digested for this game thus far has been through podcast stuff and people talking about it. But everyone is pretty respectful of spoilers, and they've done a pretty good job of like not saying anything. So this is just really exciting. By the next cast, we will all be playing it and talking about it in some form or another. Because
Avery will
it
have
is.
it platinumed.
Well, I mean, apparently it's about I think like 35 hours. No, like 20 something hours to complete and then 35 to like do the side missions and stuff.
Yes, for mere
So
mortal men.
so yeah, it's looking like it's gonna be an interesting game. And it is confirmed that we are all be playing this thing and we're going to do an official press extra review for it because we haven't done it in a long time.
Should I stream the first hour again, like I do with Modern Warfare?
That would be a good idea. We'll set it up. We'll set it up. We'll let you guys know out there in the wilds what's going to happen in terms of our streams, but it's a good idea. So we'll see. What is up? What's next, Avery?
Oh, yeah.
It's go
So
time.
so this is a story that from VGC. This is a story that's near and dear from my near and dear to me and have ruined my ability to digest games. So okay. So this is from Andy Robinson. Prolific game news account Nibel has quit Twitter. So if you don't know who Nibel is, he's the well he they are the one of the most prolific and most popular video game presences on the internet in terms of gaming news, in that they are a person who instantly gives you concise and source updates on video game news. Like if a team has a stream to announce new content for their game, literally the second the stream has gone up, Nibel has already had a breakdown of like, okay, this is what was in the stream. Here's the most important takeaways. They were essential to me in getting abreast of gaming news without needing to
Dick to the BS.
without having to deal with so many incredibly bad actors in regards to video game journalism. So Nibel has left Twitter for two reasons. One, the essential job has been doing is not his main it's not his main job. So he was always doing it as a side thing. I mean, they were always doing it as a side thing, and they've been unable to make it a sustainable thing to actually want to do. They set up a Patreon a while ago, and the Patreon got a lot of buzz early on because of how popular Nibel was, but it didn't it wasn't enough to be like, oh, this makes sense to do. Then they cited that, hey, this Elon Musk buying Twitter and probably making it much worse is a thing where I built my entire social media brand on Twitter. I don't want to exist in a world where Elon's going to ruin it.
Oh, real quick, another thing about the Patreon thing is that a bunch of people did subscribe to it,
Yeah.
but then he noticed within the week or two, a lot of people just bailed out on it. So it was a weird thing of like, oh yeah, we're gonna do it, and then no one really fell. Not no one, but a lot of
It
people
wasn't a
didn't follow
lucrative
through on it.
business to just have news an hour earlier or
Yeah.
quicker
Well,
news, by a few minutes.
people didn't value him as a person or them as a
Well,
person
to be
to
yeah.
yeah.
To be fair to people updating his Patreon was essentially just like, hey, I'm doing this, and if you support me doing this, tip me.
Oh, it's like a donation thing.
Yeah, so it wasn't like he was doing any
Oh, okay.
unique or interesting content on the Patreon. It was,
Yeah.
hey, if you support my content, here's a way to support me.
Gotcha.
I didn't know
Man.
that.
Yeah, this sucks to see, and there is some rumblings from the different podcasts I listen to where people are rethinking their, I guess, strategy for what they're going to do with Twitter now that Elon has it, and him charging money for the blue check mark and all that craziness probably to come. So Yeah, I think this isn't the last we're gonna see of people doing stuff or like making their Twitter private or leaving Twitter altogether. Yeah, like I did hear that Jack Dorsey, the person who was the owner of Twitter, who let it or who gave it to Elon, he's starting another platform called Blue Social. Is it
Yeah.
no Blue Sky Social? So, I mean, that might be a thing that people start to move to, but it's not even in beta yet. So it's just like a wish list for people to give them their email to, get put in the beta. So I don't know. We'll see.
Anywho,
Okay, our next story is from Ethan Gotch. This is from Kotaku.com. PlayStation VR 2 will cost even more than a PS5. Okay, so Sony has revealed that we got an exact release date for the PSVR 2 and an exact price for the PSVR 2. They also had a blog post that listed out a bunch of games that are going to be coming out in its release window. So the console is coming out in February 2023. It's going to be priced at $550, and the following games are going to be available for it at launch. Horizon VR, so Horizon Call of the Mountains is going to be available for it. It wasn't actually given a release date. It was just noted that they're releasing a Horizon VR bundle. So so the game is assumingly coming out at the release date. The Dark Pictures Switchback VR, which is developed by the Supermassive Games. Crossfire Sierra Squad, developed by Smilegate. The Light Brigade, developed by Funktronic Labs. Cities VR Enhanced Edition, developed by Fast Travel Games. Cosmonius High, developed by Alchemy Labs. Wow, that was bad. Hello Neighbor Search and Rescue, developed by Tiny Build Games. Jurassic World Aftermath Collection, developed by Coatsink. Pistol Whip VR, developed by Cloudhead Games. Zenith The Last City, developed by Ramen VR. After the Fall, developed by Vertigo Games. And Tentacular, developed by Fire Punched Games Yuji. So, I'm a big proponent of the PSVR. I own version 1 of the original PSVR. I bought it at launch. I was the type of gamer who would be more than willing to buy a PSVR 2. At $550, and with this lineup, this is a non-factor for me right now.
well, as somebody pointed out,
Yes, it is just the cost effectiveness, like in regards to inflation and in the fact that this VR console comes with controllers, it is actually on par with the first one, but it's more expensive than the actual PS5, which you actually need to use this console.
I mean, the same went for the first one. The first one was more expensive than the PS4.
It was and wasn't.
I mean, you had to buy the camera. Some people already had it, but I mean, you had to buy the camera.
The only thing you needed to buy with the PSVR 1 was the actual headset. While it was dumb and didn't work out in the long run, it made sense that, hey, we're using the camera that was already available, and you could probably get cheap, or you can use the Move wands that, hey, they're already out there and just people can get rid of them, and now they actually have a mechanical use, and you could probably get them cheap.
Price shot up on those.
They were on par in terms of there was no sticker shock of looking at this and being like, oh, it's $400. I have to get X, Y, and Z. Okay, that makes sense. Instead of here's $550, it costs more than the console, which is already impossible to get.
Yeah,
and then even with the price, Sean, price, the list of games that they showed off on PSVR 2 is not a fantastic and awe-inspiring list.
Are there any killer apps for VR though, other than maybe Half-Life Alyx, that you could name, that any of you can name off the top of your head?
It would be Horizon. Like that's the one that's positioned to be like a triple
One of the killer apps
PSVR. Yeah.
Sellers,
But like that's not coming out with this console.
Like the point I'm trying to make is that most of these games you can get on PSVR 1.
Yeah. Or like Meta Quest, or
you can get for cheaper on the Meta Quest.
Exactly. Yeah. Like this is
Meta Quest and raise their price as well.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's true, but like this is a mess.
It's also wireless.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a
wireless, and you don't need a console for it.
It'll be a better experience.
I agree. somebody has pointed out basically the differences. They have the Valve Index, which is $1,000. It has a higher field of vision but lower resolution display. The Quest 2 has much lower field of vision, lower resolution, worse screen, but it is wireless and standalone, $400 to $500 depending on what you which one you choose. The Quest Pro is $1,500 for slightly improved specs to the Quest 2 with pass-through and eye tracking and face tracking, better controllers, but still worse specs than this since it's also standalone and wireless. It is expensive. VR is expensive. It's not a.
Here's Sean. I'm glad you're playing devil's advocate for this, but here's the general issue: the PSVR 1 up until the Quest was announced owned VR because it was the cheapest and most cost-effective VR platform out there. Yeah. Now it no longer is. And while it has all these technical specs that make it on par and being like a good console, it doesn't even do the most useful thing that people want of VR, that is being cordless.
Yeah. The market has moved, and like MetaQuest has really proven the value of having like a wireless headset.
System. Yeah.
And a lot of people was hoping that PSVR 2 was going to be wireless, but the fact that it is wired, the fact that it costs more than
if it was wireless and $550, then I would have been like, I don't think I would have had a problem with the actual price.
It can't spit out that type of data wireless from the PS5.
Right. So and then to get to my other point about the list of games and things like that, and you were talking about how killer apps and things. One, the fact that Half-Life Alyx is on here as like a no-brainer kind of a thing is kind of insane. I kind of really want to know what's going on with the rights and things of that game.
I mean, is it on MetaQuest?
I think it's on other platforms, I believe. I'm not exactly sure. So I really want to know. And then two, VR never popped off. It was never a thing where we got 100% attach rate to it, where we were getting amazing AAA 10 out of 10 experiences on a regular basis. We were never doing that. And then so the only way that it's going to really succeed is if it has a constant influx of games that keep people excited. And as someone who owns VR1 and at a certain point got to the point where I'm not really interested in playing this anymore because I'm not finding really fun experiences for it. This list of games doesn't engender me to be it's going to VR2 is going to have a long lifespan and it's going to be constantly supported.
This looks like the last time we'll see a PlayStation VR. These games don't. I mean, there is a possibility that this isn't the full lineup. This is just what PlayStation is showing first. And that
a lot of
they
stuff
could
was
have
canceled.
Yeah. I mean, there's a possibility that they can have a showcase at the start of the year to kind of show, hey, look, this is all the stuff that we're actually going to have on top of those games that we showed last year. And check out Horizon. It looks amazing. That is literally the best case scenario for this. But realistically speaking, this is probably what we're gonna get as the first wave of PSVR 2 games, and it is very disappointing. And again, last week we were talking about how Sony's London studio, which was their premier VR studio, doing a fantasy co-op game instead of a VR game. And it's just well, if they're moving off of VR, obviously something is wrong in the waters. And this shows what's happening. No one wants to support VR because there's no money in it. So it's a mess. It's just a mess. So Marcus, you getting PSVR 2 or what?
Next question. I was just listening to y'all talk about it. I have literally nothing to add. This isn't even in my radar. Nowhere close to it.
Nah, yeah, I get you. Yeah, I was very up and down about PSVR 2. I have PSVR. I really loved it from the games that I played.
Dude, when PSVR came out, I was transfixed by it. It was my first taste of real VR. It was these are really cool, amazing experiences, really cool. And then the luster of it fell off, and the cumbersomeness of the console became an issue, and I just stopped playing it.
Yeah, man.
And even when I got great experiences like Moth and Astrobot Rescue Mission, it was just one of those things do I really feel like trotting out this VR headset, making sure all the pass-through boxes and all that bullshit is connected? I didn't really feel like it. And then to make matters worse, that when they released the PS5, it was clear that they didn't clean up any of the VR stuff with the PS5. So like you still like you needed a dongle
adapter.
like,
Yeah. It's just it's just bad all around. All right. But what's not bad is it's us, guys. Hey, look, if you're listening to this and you're enjoying our conversations and having a grand old time, do us a solid and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell, because most of our listeners are not following us, and it is very, very sad to see that you guys are enjoying our content but can't even do us a favor and just hit that red subscribe button. It's what, down, it's down there. I nailed it. The first time I nailed it. Check that out. So hit that button over there and do the thing and help us out. If you are listening and you missed all this visually, shame on you for one. But if you're driving, then cool, that's okay. Do us a favor and probably pull over first and then pause the podcast and leave a review. That'd be great. So we greatly appreciate those things. And now let us jump back into the podcast.
Something I forgot to say before we moved on. I am still very much interested in VR. Like if I didn't hate Facebook with a passion, I probably would have owned the Quest. And I
you mean Meta?
No, I hate Facebook. Meta is Facebook is the root of all meta issues. So I hate Facebook.
I tried, Marcus. I'm sorry. Don't send the Zuckerberg against.
No, Marcus was in a Meta commercial. I have a problem with Facebook.
Oh, okay.
Those are two separate things.
Yes,
those are two separate things.
You're right. Okay, never mind.
But no, it's like I am interested in VR, and like I said, if this wasn't $550 and had that lineup, I would have definitely got it, on site. But now I'm very much I'm going to wait and see 6 months from probably the end of 2023 or like 6 months after it's launched to see if there is a significant lineup of really strong games, aka if Half-Life Alyx comes through it, so I can finally play that game without spending $1,000 on an HTC Vive or some bullshit like that, or like it comes down to what I think is like a reasonable price without me having to like try and get it used. Like I'm very much still bullish on VR and think like it is one of the futures of video gaming, and like it's smart that Sony, as an entertainment company and brand who doesn't just do video games, has like taken a shot on it. I'm just not in the market for a $550 toaster that I may not use.
Facts.
Okay, our next story. Our next story is so this weekend, or the weekend of the 6th of November, was big esports weekend, in which multiple esports had their grand finals, or finally starting up right now. League of Legends had Worlds the Saturday before we recorded. The ALGS starts the Sunday that we were recording, and which is Apex Legends. And then Overwatch League ended Friday night. I've been feasting on esports, but to heighten the Overwatch League, to sort of like how would I say this? To spice it up, they dropped a trailer for the next tank hero that was for Overwatch 2. This is a story from Michael McWhirter from Polygon. Overwatch 2 new tank hero is part robot freedom fighter, part Hulk. So I remember. Does everyone remember the fucking PvE mission, Storms Rising from Overwatch 1, which ended with like a Doomfist talking with like a random Omnic, and like, I wonder where this is going. And then we never saw anything from Overwatch 1 for like 4 to 5 years, so it's completely different. Well, this is that character. The character name is Ramattra, and they are a tank hero, but they're unique as a tank hero in that they have two forms. They have their sleek, sort of mage-like DPS form, and then they have their actual brawler tank style, in which their body just hulks up, essentially.
That's really cool.
Yeah, the trailer they released pretty much shows that Ramattra is the leader of Null Sector, so the mindless group of robots that have been attacking Overwatch for a while now finally has a leader, and Talon finally gets a Omnic character on the team.
Yeah.
So
Zenyatta's gonna be like, "This is not the way, brother."
Ball in your face, ball in your face, ball in your face.
Ping, 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 ping.
yeah, Ramattra sounds cool. I don't play tank, so I'm never gonna play this character. But he seems
Me and
cool.
Marcus.
Right, it's gonna be me. I'll give it a shot.
I can try
No,
it out too, you know?
It's interesting because just given at least what they've at least not, I guess it's not rumored, they kind of did reveal the kit. He kind of feels like a cross between Lucio in that he has a um mode shifter, and then who was the other one that I just had a brain fart. Either way, like it is interesting to have another mode shift character because
Yeah.
as far as I know, Lucio was the only one for the longest time.
Well, no, there's a difference. No, there's a difference. Like Lucio has 2 firing modes. Like a lot of characters have multiple sort of like firing modes and things like that. The thing about this character is the actual way the character plays changes between forms.
Oh no, but I mean, yeah, exactly.
More like a diva than a Lucio. Like Lucio's gameplay pretty much stays the same regardless if you're on speed mode or heal mode. It just depends. It just changes the way his aura of effect outputs. But like, there's a difference between tank diva. I mean, like and like diva out of mech, if that makes sense. And this is
Fair.
more in line with that.
Does he have different utility though with his modes? Because that's what if he does, that's I guess what I mean with Lucio, where like, yeah, you relatively play the same, but your utility changes whether you're on shift or heal.
Does it?
Yeah, because like you use the speed to get through points or move around or
But for
get
me,
people away from something.
But for me, that sounds like the kit is the same. It's just the way you play changes. Where like a diva, like if diva's not in mech, she can't do X, Y, and Z. And she is in mech, she can do X, Y. Like so, from what I can tell, they've not released anything for this character because this was only a teaser. The character's not coming till December. So like we have like over a month before we even see what this character's kit plays like.
Wait. They do have a little snippet in the Polygon article.
Yeah,
So
I was going to get to that.
Okay,
From what we can tell from what we can tell from like images that have leaked, there seems to be a barrier and like a fortify. And I think from the fortify seems to be in the tank form, and then the barrier seems to be in the like I'm not tanky DPS form. There seems to be like a change of utility fundamentally.
Yeah.
So what's his name? Ramattra?
Ramattra, yeah.
Okay, cool. Ramattra will offer tank players new gameplay opportunities, letting them decide between protecting their team with long-range attacks and barriers, or aggressively leading the charge into the battle. His punches, while in Nemesis form, which is the name of the different form, can pierce through barriers. So that is going to essentially counter the bubble form heroes like Winston and Zarya, which is really, really interesting because Zarya
And maybe Reinhardt.
Yeah, no,
because he has a shield, not a barrier, right? I think
No, they're all barriers,
is-
but he has.
Oh, they're okay.
but
but there's
like,
two different utilities to them, I think.
Yeah.
Zarya's bubble, especially because she has double bubble. There will be times where
Does she now?
she
Double bubble.
where she seems like impossible to put down. So
Yeah.
this would definitely be a big counter for her.
Which is cool.
Yeah.
So now my problem with this is this character is either $10 if you buy the battle pass, or like 3 weeks of playing the game constantly to complete the battle pass to get him,
I haven't
right?
complete the battle pass. You have to get to level 55.
Level 50. How do you what's the end of the battle pass?
I think the end of the battle pass is 80, and that's when you get the mythic skin.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. All right. All right.
Yeah, it's immediately deflating.
Yeah. Yeah. He looks cool. Like the leak screenshots that we saw like looked interesting. I like the purplish color on him that looks really cool, but I
Yeah,
don't
I mean,
$10 or nah, I
I
don't
guess
know.
like I mean, $10 isn't that much,
It's
but
not
even
that much,
still,
but my
it's.
genuine issue is, and why I hate that they tied the characters into the fucking seasonal battle passes without making the battle passes evergreen, is that like cool, if I don't play this game in December, when is my chance to get this character?
Yeah.
Hell, if I
February.
start playing Overwatch in December, will I get Kiriko as well? Like, do I have a chance to get Kiriko? I don't think so. We just want my problem with this entire
They've
strategy.
screwed up the whole game.
And my time's already like split, man. So like ah I mean it just this is basically doing what they want you to do is consider buying the battle pass and not have to worry about spending the time. So,
I mean,
congrats.
the
Go
problem
ahead.
is right now they have. I don't think they'll. As frustrating as it is for like people who play it regularly, they have so many characters that I don't think they'll run into an issue of, um, I guess, ruining the game fundamentally
You
until
say
they.
that, but I just watched the OWL finals. What characters were on both rosters for
Uh,
six maps in a row?
Kiriko probably.
Kiriko and Soldier.
Oh no, yeah,
Oh.
I get that in terms of competitive. Like if you're playing competitively and like the way that they've changed up the meta, but like if you're playing more casually, I think that there's still a lot of utility that you can get out of different characters because they still don't have that many characters yet. So you have access to most
Well,
of the roster right
that's not
now.
true because like if you just play the game for the first time, if you're just joining Overwatch, you don't have access to most of the characters.
Oh no,
On top of that,
I'm saying casual people who carried over from
okay,
the
well that
other
makes sense.
game. Yeah.
Like my last thought about this, because I am genuinely incensed about the entire way this system works, is that like as someone who main support in this game, playing support is fucking awful. It is
Yeah.
awful.
Yeah.
So I'm always just going to spam hashtag give me more support characters going forward because the chances of them fixing the support problem aren't going to happen. So the only medicine for that is busted support characters that I can get my hands on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm willing to bet that we're probably gonna get tank and support heroes for maybe the foreseeable future. I don't think we're gonna get another damage hero for a little while.
I
Yeah,
think
because
odds.
even in the game, there's like 15 different damage heroes and then like
Well,
8 supports or something like
well,
that.
to be fair, remember there used to be offense and defense, and then they got merged, and then suddenly now there's like 15
Oh.
DPS.
Okay.
And
All right. Yeah.
and if I'm going based on their schedule and their release schedule, I'm betting our next one after Ramattra is a DPS.
Mhm.
I can
I don't
Oh,
think they
because
have.
Kiriko's a support. So yeah,
Yeah,
they're probably
I
gonna
don't
run
think.
the
Yeah, I
line.
don't think they have any plans to equalize out
The number
the number of
for
heroes.
class.
well, that's unfortunate.
Because like if you really think about this, we have the support and tank issue has been problem in the game forever. And then like before the game went quiet, we got Echo.
Well, I guess
This
you're
shit about to
probably
be looking
right,
like a
but
Marvel versus Capcom 2 roster.
I was gonna say, you're probably right, but if they're trying to offset the changes and the complaints that they had, it would make sense for them to equalize. But I guess
Yeah.
Like yeah,
Yeah.
but those planks have been in the game since Overwatch 1.
Right.
And then the first new hero they released was Soldier.
Yeah. Who is
We was like, oh,
yeah.
here's another DPS. And then before Soldier was Echo, which was another DPS.
Yikes. Yikes.
I'm
All
just
right.
We got yeah, cool. Sorry for losing my mind there, but it's Overwatch. Our next story, this is from Kotaku.com. This is from Isaiah Colbert. Video game studio goes through expensive rebrand, is then shut down immediately. So when Square Enix sold off a bunch of its Western studios to the Embracer Group for like Square got the raw end of the deal on that sale. They sold it for like 300 million or something. No, it wasn't even 300 million. I'm lying. It was a extremely small amount of number for
Yeah.
three.
Wasn't
Was
it 36 million? You go ahead. I'll look it up.
Yeah. It was a small amount of number. They bought them. They bought the studios, but they bought all their IP. They added more to the Embracer Group. I've been of the mindset that I'm going to wait for the other shoe to drop with the Embracer Group before I start judging them as a conglomerate and what their business activities are in terms of we're just buying up studios and they're releasing AA games.
It was 300 million.
Okay, what's 300 million?
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes more sense. But it's still a steal for those studios, especially with the level of content they can pop out. One of those studios was Square Enix it was Square Enix Montreal. And Square Enix Montreal about 2 weeks ago rebranded themselves into a group called Anoma. And then as of this week, Anoma has been shut down. Jason Steyer has sort of like the biggest deets on it in regards to like some critical information. A lot of the staff is going to be shuffled into the other Square Enix studios. We also got some tidbits that the Eidos Montreal was making a Stranger Things-esque Kids on Bike game, which that got canceled. They're working on a new rescoped IP, which definitely sounds AA. It is going to be a new Deus Ex, and Eidos Montreal is working with Xbox on Fable. So working on it as a support studio for Microsoft, which hints to me that why did Microsoft just buy these studios out if we're just going to take the IP and then use them as support studios? Because the Avengers team is working with the Perfect Dark team.
What is Microsoft doing?
They can't make big purchases because of the Activision Blizzard thing.
So real quick, I'm on the Anoma's website, and the games that they were working on was a Hitman Sniper, The Shadows. I feel like there should be some kind of grammar thing there, but nope, that's the words that's right there. Then they have a Space Invaders thing, they have a Tomb Raider Reloaded thing, and then they have the Avatar Generations thing, which is a strange lineup of games. But yeah, continue. You're muted.
They are the Go team, the team that made all the Square Enix mobile. So like that's what they're famous for. So they're like a good studio, and then they made an incredibly popular game in the Hitman Sniper game, which apparently did really well on mobile.
Oh,
so they're like a good studio that just happens to make mobile games, and then they got. But I don't understand why they got like. I don't understand the business reason for buying them, letting them rebrand, which is going to be expensive, and then shutting them down. That's the question mark.
Yeah. That's a very weird trajectory to end where we are with this studio. Like that really doesn't make any sense. Like the only thing I can think of is if the studios themselves decided that they were better off just shutting down the studio versus because like rebranding a studio costs a lot of money, and it doesn't make any sense that Embracer would go along with this and then turn around and shut them down like so quickly without them even making a game yet.
You never know.
Yeah, but I mean that just doesn't. That seems.
I mean,
so
that's
weird.
the equivalent of let people come into Friday, work on Monday through Friday, knowing that you were going to fire them last week. I mean,
yeah, but like normally in a normal situation that makes sense, but the fact that you take the step to rebrand the studio,
it's the rebranding thing. Like you spent money.
It takes it's a lot.
All the company's assets.
Yeah,
I don't know, man. We're not high enough. We don't get paid enough to know these things. All right.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just like my. I mean, of course, like I don't know any of these people, so I don't know what they're actually talking or thinking of. But like, my thing would be like, okay, well, they themselves probably decided it was better off just breaking up the company and having these people go into the other studios and supporting those studios versus continuing on with this company or with this dev studio. So
yeah,
I don't know. That makes sense to me in my head.
Yeah, it's. I like I said, I've always held out the opportunity that like, hey, Bracer's buying devs, if those devs get the ability to make their games, like regardless, like I'd say good thing, but I'm gonna wait for the other shoe to drop. The other shoe has dropped in regards to Embracer. Combined with Saints Row and generally the rest of their output, they're no longer a studio that I'm hopeful for anything that's coming out of them now, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I totally forgot about Saints Row. Jeez. Wow.
Okay, so our next story is a sort of like a duo of Hideo Kojima stories. There's actually a lot of information that's come out from Hideo Kojima. Like the fact that he's doing his podcast is making it so much easier for him to be in the news cycle in regards to things. So our first story is from VGC. This is from Tom Ivan. Footage of Hideo Kojima's unannounced Overdose has seemingly leaked. Overdose is one of the games that was already sort of leaked accidentally, and now footage has revealed the Margaret Qualley character model that was originally leaked ages ago, now exploring an environment. People have pointed out that the environment is from Death Stranding, from the DLC.
Oh.
So
it's all connected.
No one is assuming that Overdose is, at least I'm not assuming that Overdose is more Death Stranding. But people are just assuming that because it's not like the game is like anywhere ready to come out. They're just assuming that they're using the stuff they've built with Death Stranding to test how Overdose is going to work. As
Overdose is the ground zero to Metal Gear Solid 5's Phantom Pain. This is what it is.
Wow.
Because here's the thing, they're using Margaret Qualley as the title character. Margaret Qualley is in Death Stranding as a duo of characters. So the context of that character being in that section of Death Stranding doesn't make any sense.
It's Kojima, baby.
Yeah.
That's why I'm not taking it as more Death Stranding and more like, we're testing this game and we're just using the IP that we built Death Stranding to do everything.
Has anyone seen the actual footage? Seen the leaked footage?
No, I've only seen the leaked footage so much as I've seen screenshots of scenes of Death Stranding compared to scenes from Overdose. I'm not watching any of the leaked footage.
I saw a little bit of it, but mainly in that the footage that I have seen was from a person recording it with their phone. So you could see the reflection of the person, and the person is like shirtless. And it's like, sir, you really messed this one up. Like,
or did he?
What you doing, my boy?
Right. But like in the footage, it's very, very weird, but also very Kojima in that, like, you see the person in it, they almost look like they're in a like a medical gown kind of thing, and they're like running around and scared kind of thing. But in that same frame, you can see that footage is from another person holding like a camera or like a screen kind of thing, and it kind of seems like the character holding the screen is giving commands to the person that is in the frame, like running around and stuff. So it's very, very confusing, but at the same time, that is like a thing that Kojima would probably pull in, like, especially if this is supposed to be like testing for something. That makes total sense. So all in all, it's just very interesting.
Yeah. Okay. So and the other bit of leaked Hideo Kojima on sort of things is that we got more of his unannounced game featuring Elle Fanning. There was a promo for a image that said "Where am I?" And it was revealed that the "Where am I" is Shiori Kutsuna, who people would know as Yukio from Deadpool 2. In one of the weirdest images I've seen, because she looks computer generated, like in the image.
Oh,
I mean, it's just her face.
It is 100% her face. I think it's the lighting and like how close up of the face, it kind of just looks like a CG image. But yeah, so there's more context of what he's doing more of his teasing of what this project is, whether it's connected to Overdose, whether it's connected to Death Stranding 2, whether it's a completely new IP, whether it's the Xbox project. We don't know. the Shiori Kutsuna thing is sort of like indicates to me that it's less. That's probably less Death Stranding of it all. Because like with Elfania, I could make it's gonna be a grown up blue. But with this, I'm like I have there's no Death Stranding lore I can give you to give you an understanding of what this could be.
Could you imagine if it was what was that mech game that he did?
Dawn of the Enders?
Zone of the Enders?
Yeah, could you imagine if it was Zone of the Enders?
I couldn't because then it was him having a conversation with Konami.
TJ.
It's freaking out, man.
I was not in my mind, I'm literally looking at the article and thinking like, damn, this really reminds me of the Kara demo when it had like a close up of her face and then it like zoomed down. I was like, oh, I'm a robot. And I was like, oh, that kind of makes sense. And you said Zone of the Enders. My mind was like, fuck that. Zone of the Enders. Oh man, if this is that and like Kojima is just like, yeah, I'm not gonna call it Zone of the Enders, but you guys know what it is, right? Wink, wink. Oh man, oh man, oh man.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get your hopes up. Like
I'd go back and play Death Stranding. I'd actually play it.
I was about to
fight
hit you.
I didn't mean to get your hopes up like Square Enix did to Sean.
All right now. Oh, you don't gotta twist the knife.
Oh man. Oh, it's
Sorry.
terrible.
Okay.
That's terrible.
Go ahead, Avery.
Okay. Yeah. And then our final story is from Kotaku.com. This is from Sissy Zhang. Final Fantasy 16 dev has a terrible answer for why the game is so white. Yada yada. There was a conversation to be had. Someone asked IGN, someone from IGN asked the producer Naoki Yoshida, "Hey, why are not any black people or other people of color in the game?" And he gave the standard. Our game is based on a European fantasy setting, so that's what we focused on. Yada yada. And that's his general answer. I'm gonna let you guys go because we got to move forward.
Did he put on his mega hat?
He said, "Don't you know black people didn't exist back then?"
Make Europe great again.
Why are we
my
still
gosh.
using this argument in 2022?
I mean, frankly, I don't give a shit. Give me a good playing game. He's trying to take Final Fantasy back to his roots. I guess. I don't give a shit. Just make it mechanically sound.
It's a Japanese game.
What?
What are you talking about?
You heard me. MJGA just doesn't sound good on a hat. All right, just
like I'd much rather these games just be full of nothing but Japanese people and then just say we're just making Japanese games than them do this shit.
Like our anime, right? We'll split anime around the world, but it's just a bunch of all people that look the exact same. Like
he should have said, "I got the perfect answer for that question," and then just left.
They reveal the villain and he's black.
Oh god!
I'm like, oh,
right?
You son of a bitch.
What? You wanted diversity? He's a leading character.
Oh man, the good people are white, the black people are, or the bad people are black. Easy enough. Diversity.
Just like
but
God intended.
But yeah, like, you know, we're laughing at this because this is just ridiculous and this is a bad answer. And like the article positions it as a bad answer for why the game is so white. And, you know, this is a thing that we are used to. This is nothing new in terms of how people think of, you know, that time period in Europe. Oh, there was no black people there. And like, no, there was black people everywhere. What do you mean? Like, of course there was black people there. It's stupid. That's so dumb.
I mean, frankly, it's like, you know, obviously we're bringing up, you know, black people, but like people of color in general, like it's weird to not have any. Then again, I guess we haven't seen every character in the game, but so far,
if they're going to say something like this, then there's probably not going to be any black people unless they
like,
are.
What are you talking about? We got Muhammad,
right?
Muhammad's a powerful
would y'all
black
be cool
name.
if they delayed the game to add some more color into it?
I mean, at that point, like At that point, I feel like it'd be unnecessary. You just die on the hill.
Yeah.
Put out your game.
Like, y'all don't even got Indian people though. Like, come on, what the fuck? Like, it's
There
like,
were
cool. Where do you think you get
definitely-
all these fancy colors from?
Oh boy.
Yeah, this is just, again, it's a bad answer. I don't really expect much from like Japanese developers in this case.
The last thing I will say is using we're going back to our roots. Nigga, there's a chocobo in the game. I don't want to hear it.
Right.
It's a
right.
fantasy game. You can put whoever you want.
Exactly. I have giant crystals the size of the Eiffel Tower.
You're
and then-
summoning things out of the sky.
Yeah, like it's bullshit. It's just bullshit. It's just
Yeah.
a bad answer. It's bullshit.
Black magic
and-
was forbidden, so they didn't have any black people.
Sean, you mean African American magic?
Anyway, moving on. Tragic.
This is terrible, but we're trying to make light of the situation because it's just bad. It's just bad all around. All right. I think that is it for the gaming news. And that has been it for the podcast. We hope you enjoyed this episode as much as we enjoyed making it. Don't forget to rate and review us on your favorite podcast service. Don't forget to like this video if you're watching on YouTube. Subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell. Don't forget that if you want to join in our conversations, you can by joining our Discord at pressx2start.com/Discord. Yeah, and then with all of that, you take care, you be safe, and you have a great day, a great night, great week, great weekend, and play some games. Just do it.
Yeah.
Uno out.